Hello and welcome to the MHG podcast. As usual, look, life can be a little bit miserable and a little bit dark. So once again, we're here to give you a little bit of light and a little bit of joy because I'm Brad and I'm joined by His Holiness, Pope Stu the 15th.
That's a lot of Stuarts. A lot of Stuart popes.
Yeah, I don't know what they're called. Benedict, Stuart and Frank or something, I don't know.
Don't they all get like, they all get like retrospectively named after like the
Paul.
apostles? Yeah. Yeah. The apostles and the disciples, I think.
I'd follow a pope called like Pope Steve.
I know, yeah, that's it, you know. But I mean, the recent ones would be like Nazi Friedrich Wilhelm II and stuff.
Yeah,
like that,
yeah.
So,
Yeah. Pope Dave the White Van Man.
Yeah. It's not going to happen. Although he'd already have his own Pope mobile.
Oh, yeah, good point. And those things last, but like they scam them through the MOT and everything.
Oh, yeah, they're built to last them.
Does the Pope mobile need an MOT?
I would guess not, because they have their own. They've made their own city-state that the Pope lives in, which has its own laws. I can't remember what they call it.
Which is its own country as well, isn't it?
Exactly.
And stuff. It's the whole thing, yeah.
Which I can't remember the name of. But yeah, probably doesn't need it.
Imagine being the Pope's MOT man.
I know, yeah.
Or lady, or other.
Yeah, exactly. Ooh, it's going to cost you. Yeah.
Yeah. The Pope going, well, I can't go to this MOT place, mate. You're like, I've been talking out about rights and everything. They're all going to hate me, and I don't know. Where can I get a muffler? How bad is it, mate? Look, if I give you 200 quid, right, just out here now, could you just pass it and just ignore the little bit?
Yeah. I've got some treasures here that we looted from the Moors 700 years ago. Yeah, have some of this.
I've cleared it by Alanis Morissette. It's fine.
Yeah. Well, that's the standard, isn't it? As long as it passes the Morissette test, then you're okay.
Yeah. The best god. We all know that. Alanis Morissette's the best god. It's the only one. I would worship an Alanis Morissette god.
Yeah.
There's a certain irony to it.
Yeah, they seem sound enough.
Anyway, what stuff? Do you know what else could be godlike?
What's that?
Video games with gods in it, Stu.
Ah, yeah, you Peter Molyneuxing up in this bitch. I don't know.
Well, I'm over-promising and under-delivering.
Yeah, that's what gods are like, though, isn't it?
That's what our podcast should be called, over-promising, under-delivering.
Under-promising and yet under-delivering. That's what it should be.
Uh-huh. Now, unfortunately for you people, when I say you people, I mean the listeners, I forgot I've lost my train of thought. It's a Bradley-centric episode today because Stu is playing games that are under embargo. He got a package of a bunch of shoot-em-ups that I can't remember the name of. That's poor on my part. But he is tight-lipped on those for not this episode, the next episode. The episode after that, you'll be able to hear about them. So, Stu's going to sit back, glass of sherry, and he's going to ask the age-old question.
What have you been playing?
I've been playing lots and lots and lots. Mainly this last few days, Baldur's Gate, and we'll come on to that at the end because there's a discussion to have at the end with that. But I've been playing quite a few other games over the past couple of weeks as well, and it's time to start covering those games. No, that one might be embargo, so I won't talk about that one. I've just seen the date it comes out. So I've got 2 to talk about, not 3. Because I'm organised, you see.
Oh, yeah.
First up is Neon Noodles, which is essentially an automation game. I'm really liking automation games at the moment. I think they're really cool and they're really clever and they make you think logically in the same way like Sudoku and Sliverlink does, but with production chains, rather. I think I spoke about Word Factory the other day. Oh, did I? I'm sure I did. The word-based
maybe.
one. I'm sure I did. It's brilliant anyway. If I didn't, get it. It's brilliant and I'll work it out and I'll talk about it another time. Anyway, Neon Noodles is another one, a bit like your Space Chems and things like that. Your Big Farmers, Automata Chef, I think it was called, as another one. Where basically you get an input and you get a bunch of tasks and then you've got to output this food to provide an order. And that's essentially what you do, and you create like this programming logic of take the item, do this, do that, do this, pursue this, mix it together, etc., 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 output it. but it gets really complicated. It starts off really simple, such as take this to move it to here, to move it to here, to move it to here. And that's how it starts. And then you get combination-based stuff, having to pick some ingredients up to use them here, to then convert them to something else, to take them to somewhere else, to mix with something else, before then doing it all, chopping it, etc., 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 and then outputting it. And it's really, really good. It's got the concept of drones with it, this one. So it's not just like a chain. It's actually, you have to use drones to go and perform the actions, which is really, again, really cool. But it's kind of got this story behind it as well. It's kind of like this cyberpunky story behind it, where there's something nefarious going on, and you're kind of fighting back against it. I don't want to say too much, because again, people like playing these things and do like the story. I'm kind of half ignoring it, because all I care about is the automation side of it. Yeah. But I actually didn't realise that this is part of a new genre of video games, Stu, the Zack-like.
What?
And that's what... So, do you know Zachtronics?
No.
No. Right, do you know Space Chem?
I've heard of it.
Magnum Opus, or Opus Magnum, whichever the wrong way round is.
Yeah.
Basically, Zachtronics is a programming genius, and is turned programming into video games, where basically it's that whole idea of you take things and you make things happen in automation. And basically, he is the absolute king of all these games, and essentially has spawned a genre called the Zack-like.
Gotcha.
This is one of the Zack-likes. Some of them are pretty damn bad, but this one, yeah, do you know what? This one is very, very good. I like the aesthetic, like the cyberpunky neon aesthetic to it. Using food as its concept is really good, because I don't understand the sciencey things. When it's science, or like magic, or like even like the stuff they did to make like medication and stuff like that, I don't understand. I can't. My brain can't comprehend what the different elements are. Put it as words, like in Word Factory, or put it as food items and ingredients, as in Neon Noodles, it starts to make sense to me. And it's, oh yeah, well, I need to get this onion chopped, so I need to take onion and put it to a knife, so that onion gets chopped. I don't understand taking element B4965 to have to be discombobulated to then go into... I don't understand that. So this more common usage of other everyday items is brilliant. It's a lovely little story behind it. I feel stupid at points, but then it's one of those games where you feel stupid. You then complete a level, and you feel like all of a sudden you've like leveled up your own brain because you've managed to do it. But yeah, it's really, really good, and it questions corporate greed as well, which is a good thing to do.
Nice.
But yeah, really, really good game, interesting concept that would, I think, fly under the radar of a lot of people.
Yeah, it sounds pretty good. Yeah, I mean, I like those concepts. I mean, whenever I say, and I end up saying it every week, that that kind of game is not my kind of game. It's not. I don't wear it like a badge of honour.
Yeah.
I recognise that I'm a complete moron for not liking something that's a little bit more cerebral than just blowing stuff up. But unfortunately, that's just the way my free time goes. It tends to be, along the lines of very simplistic things that I can enjoy without any real cognition. But yeah, I do appreciate these games. I really do, and I really do kind of like them when they get signal boosted.
Yeah, no, it's not for everyone. Even like puzzle game fans of other types might not like this. I think automation is a very specialist niche in the world of video games. It doesn't, because your end result isn't. I'm surprised I like it, because the end result isn't immediately satisfying. Because one thing that bugs me with these sort of games, and I'm finding it with Word Factory, actually, it does it, is I finish it, and I'm quite pleased that I finished it, and then I see that there's people have done it better, and you get graphs that show you where you are, and I kind of go, oh, I haven't done it the best, and then that plays on my mind, so you don't get that immediate endorphin rush and gratification that you do with many other, even puzzle games. So there is stuff there that it won't suit everybody, and it is an acquired taste, but I say for whatever reason, since playing, I think the one that really got me was Big Pharma. Actually, got me back into the Zachtronics stuff. I've just really taken to them. I don't know why. Again, maybe it's because I'm getting older, and my tastes have changing away from the fast-paced stuff because I struggle with that more now because of my vision and things like that. But yeah, no, this is really, really good. Plays well on Steam Deck as well, by the way, full controller support.
Oh yeah, no, that is important. That really is. Yeah, no, that sounds interesting. It's that comparison is the thief of joy thing, like applies here. It sounds like, and unfortunately,
When's that out?
What, the game?
Yeah, Thief of Joy. That sounds like a real video.
It does,
game.
doesn't it? Yeah. So you really throw me off there. Yeah, no, it and the internet has kind of weaponized the comparison being the thief of joy, because every single game you can look at how the entire world is playing the game better than you are.
Yeah.
Whereas, when we were kids and we were playing games, you only had your friends for comparison, and yeah. I'm not saying it's necessarily a bad thing, but
see,
it's
this is where I use my cheat code. I didn't have any friends.
Oh, well, there you go.
So I was
you
the
were
best.
the best. Still are, definitely. Nice.
Yeah, that's our cheated life. I didn't have to compare myself to all my friends. Yeah,
Nice.
But it's all coming up Millhouse. But yeah, but no, really, really good. I think it's only cheap as well. Yeah, it's like 12 quid, 15 quid. Which for this sort of game I think is spot on, personally. But also dare say it'll be available in sales and bundles, and so it's one of those games that feels ripe for a humble bundle in a few months as well. But still, if you like this sort of game, don't wait. It's also, don't wait on it. If you like this sort of game, don't wait on it. If you're unsure, I would say it's not going to change minds. Wait for a bundle or a big sale.
Yep, fair play. Sounds reasonable.
So, moving on to one I know I can talk about. Is called Adore. And what this show's about, because I know how much you adore me, Stu. I don't know.
Silence.
No.
Silence.
Yeah. Basically, look, we all know Diablo 4 came out, and Diablo 4 was a bit... you've definitely gone down that route. Microtransactions, spending more money than the initial game was. Apparently some really conny things to do, such as placing the buy season pass button where the map button was, so people were accidentally buying the season pass.
What?
Dear. But anyway.
Oh my god.
Oh yeah, no, apparently that was one. I need to double check that, but I've seen a couple of videos that spoke about that being a thing they did, and then Activision wouldn't refund because it didn't give any, like, are you sure you want to do this kind of thing? You just bought the season pass.
Oh my god.
But again, that's conjecture. I've not played it, can't clarify. They might have all fixed that. It might have been an accident. I don't know. But hey, why do we give Activision the benefit of the doubt? We don't, because they don't deserve it.
We don't.
No. But anyway, Adore is basically Diablo stroke Pokemon, in a way, if you will. So the idea is you're this character, you're going through, and the plan is to resurrect the god of creatures, and you kind of go through this isometric thing going round. You've got different abilities you can use, but your abilities, the way you do it is you beat a creature, and then you can summon that creature, you capture it, and then what you do is you basically send that creature out to fight for you, a press of a button, but you use that creature in the way... Do you know, like how in a Diablo game where you have your magic spells and you press like your magic spell button until it cools down?
Yeah.
And then you can use it again and use your other ones. And basically, you do that, but with creatures. It's like Pokemon-style creatures. And yeah, that's pretty much what you do. You go through all the levels. You use your creatures. You do battles. You move on. It's fast-paced. It's fun. You could do different things, and there's definitely like a synergy to it. So you might have creatures that have certain magic spells, or you might have creatures that are really good at being sort of like just like melee attacks and stuff like that. So they all do different. So you have to create a synergy of all the creatures you have, and you can move them all about. They all have their own special abilities and everything like that. And you go through, it's got loads of other little subsystems in it, so like you could collect like runes and things like that, which allow you to upgrade creatures and yourself, etc, etc, etc. And you basically need to also kind of get to know the creatures as well. So you learn about them the more you interact with them, the more you see them, the more you learn about them, which is really, really good. And it's got a pretty diverse overworld to it. I'm finding like the world is quite enjoyable to be in. It doesn't get samey and boring. And I'm just like, enjoying my time with it. It's kind of like, even though Diablo's kind of got that, oh, it's Diablo, and everyone plays Diablo, and I kind of really want to play Diablo, despite I'm not outright, I'm not like with Activision like I am with Ubisoft, where that's just like, nope, you're gone, screw you, Ubisoft. With Activision, I kind of like, I don't mind maybe in a sale or something like that down the line, but Diablo's one of those games, a series that I really, really want it, and I'm trying not to get it, and this has scratched that itch really, really well by being Diablo inspired, and that action RPG, but doing something very unique with it. So it also kind of really scratches that creature collecting itch that I like from Pokemon, despite being a bit bored with Pokemon at the moment.
Yeah.
So it's scratching all the itches, and it's kind of just really enjoyable. And I'm quite surprised. I don't adore it, but it's adorable. That's adorable.
Well, it sounds really good. Yeah, seems to, like you say, scratch some itches that are probably out there, especially with the recent Pokemon not being particularly good, or at least being pretty lazy, and Diablo being a microtransaction mess, and obviously completely embargoed by me and you. So nice.
So the reason this kind of all comes together with like Diablo and Adore, I think being a really good example, is I started playing Baldur's Gate. Very first time I've played a Baldur's Gate game. It's a D&D game, and I am, let's just say I'm a D&D virgin. Okay, I've always kind of admired the idea of it, but never played a D&D game. I think I've played the odd video game, but not quite got how the D&D stuff works with it. So this is a Dungeons & Dragons RPG. So everything you do is dice rolled. Whether it's in the background because the system's doing it, or you've actually got to roll a dice to make a big decision. But essentially, it is an RPG where you're going on a journey, and it's narrated in certain parts, and you're guided along by a dungeon, like an invisible dungeon master. It's not a dungeon master doing all the dungeon master bits that you would from a like an actual D&D session. It's kind of told more with visuals because it's a video game. But it's just, I don't want to review it because it's just a brilliant game, and you just look at the review scores that are coming out and the user scores. I think it's like 97% Metacritic average from critics and 92 from users, which is almost unheard of these days really with a top tier video game. Over 60,000 overwhelmingly positive reviews on Steam. When generally, I think someone pointed out, the overwhelmingly positive generally goes to around a couple of thousand at best. If it goes anything over 1,000, you start getting the very positive, or it starts to mix because you've got some dissenters in there. So for a game like this, which is a big... do you know what? This is a AAA quality game. In all the right ways, not the way we disparage AAA these days. Because for 50 quid... which is a good price compared to a lot of other games, you've got a full game. And absolutely 100%, everything's included, full game. I think on their website, they said, we basically wanted to produce you, the gamers, a full experience for the money you pay. There's no microtransactions, there's no add-ons, there's no this, there's no that, like to ruin the main game. I think there have been expansions, or what was the old things we used to have in the olden days? Was it expansions? Like where you buy like The Sims and then you actually got a massive expansion. So I think there are a couple of those for like some of the older Baldur's Gate games, where there's like big fuck off expansions that you can get, but they don't ruin or it doesn't force you to change up the way you play the original game and stuff like that. But anyway, so there might be that down the line, but no microtransaction bullshit. There's nothing else you need to buy to enjoy Baldur's Gate, and there's not even any temptation to it. None of it's there, which is really good. The game has the odd little bug. Like I've had a couple of dialogue bugs happen and things like that. So again, it's not exempt from bugs, but I don't think there's ever been a big video game ever in the history of video games that's not had a bug. It happens. But it's not bug-laden like a lot of other stuff that you get. It's a game that respects you. It respects your time. It respects you as a person. And it's getting all the right praise from fans and critics. Now, the flip side of that, some developers don't like it. Because you've got some developers now coming out and saying, well, yeah, the Baldur's Gate's an anomaly because you can't expect us all to make games like this. You can't all expect us to make games that over-promise. Over-deliver, which is what Baldur's Gate's done. It's over-delivered. And how can we do that? We can't do that. We can't make games like that. And no one's expecting you to make Baldur's Gate. No one's expecting everyone to make 120-odd hour epics that have like actual proper branching choices that means you can go and play the game 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 different ways each time. That you can play it co-op, you can play it on your own, and you get different experiences, etc., etc. No one's expecting everyone to make that. But what Baldur's Gate is doing, and I think this is very important for the industry. And we've seen it with other games like Final Fantasy 16 did it as well. Elden Ring is another great example of a game that came out and was just the game and it did all the things well that it had to do. Is just, you make the game you want. Right, you make the game you want, whatever genre it is. Just make sure you deliver a quality title. We're not saying that you might be making an RPG. Your RPG you've got to make has got to be in the vein of Baldur's Gate. But when you make that RPG, just make sure all your systems work. Make sure it's a complete game. If you're going, can we make this game? And, oh no, Baldur's Gate's come out. Oh, what we could do about all our add-ons and microtransactions and skins and stuff like that. Maybe think about that. Maybe think about, do I need all these bits? What if we just put those in the game? Just put them in the game and let people have them but instead of charging 15 quid for this RPG was going to charge, but with all the microtransactions, let's charge 20 quid, 25 quid, and it's all in there. Do it that way. Because people are showing that they are willing to pay for games that are well received, well made, and well done, and respect you, not as a gamer, but respect you as a person. And Lorien Studios have done that with Baldur's Gate, and they speak so passionately about it that I think this has got to now be where the big AAA companies, whether it's your Activisions, your Microsofts, your Ubisofts, your EAs, have got to look at this and go, oh, so this is what people do want? But you've got to look at that Baldur's Gate and go, right, we're not replicating Baldur's Gate, but what are the things Baldur's Gate got right? What did they get right? That's what we've got to get right. There is a clear thing, 615,000 concurrent users at its peak on Steam, which put it something like only behind that Harry Potter game, which is obviously it's Harry Potter, that's going to have loads because it's Harry Potter, as much as, we will proclaim, the Devil Woman herself is the worst person ever and we shouldn't buy it. It's Harry Potter, it's going to do gangbusters. But above that, really, you've got Cyberpunk and then a bunch of free-to-play like PUBG, etc., etc. Games like that, like Roblox or whatever, all games like that are beating it because they're free-to-play and they are behemoths at the moment. Baldur's Gate is a niche genre and it's over 500,000 concurrent users. And that is and it's still up there a week later. It hasn't had an immediate drop off. And I think that's just miraculous in a way for a game like this. So they've got to look at, if they want to trend chase the the big publishers, surely got to look at Baldur's Gate and go, oh, there is a want for solid single player games that, we don't need to. Like Destiny, I think, is one where I look at it and go, I want to play Destiny. The core gameplay of Destiny, I really like the shooting and the bloody blah and the numbers and all that. But I don't know where to start with Destiny anymore. It's like, well, what do I need to buy? And apparently you can't do the original core game anymore on the free to play. And it's like, well, but I don't know if I want to buy these, and it's apparently like the last expansion that came out for that was lukewarm, and it was just like it missed out loads of stuff. Then they said that we're not going to put they're not doing like armor upgrades or armor patterns and stuff like that because it's low uptake. And someone pointed out the reason that is because the good stuff is hidden behind paywalls. So, of course, you're not getting uptake on the other stuff because it's like no one wants another shade of grey. And no one wants to really pay for the stuff because it's like it's just a skin, and people realise you can only have so many skins. But Baldur's Gate doesn't do any of that at all. I think it's showing a face of the industry that the industry really didn't want showing. Of like, look, if we do it properly, this is what you can get. I'm not into these games, and it's overwhelming. Don't get me wrong, it's overwhelming. Not in a way that pushes me away. It's overwhelming in a way that makes me want to get better and learn more. It's brilliant. And I'm going to go out on the limb now. Again, this is a review. This will be the overall industry game of the year by a long shot. This will win everything because it's that damn good and it's that damn game changing, I think, in how games are created over the next number of years.
Well, let's hope so, yeah, because that's a really good pattern for people to follow. It's what we want. It's if they can do it so that you can expand the game with DLC if you want to, like you say, the old-fashioned kind of expansion pack idea, where it's totally not necessary to the game that you're playing, but it's there if you want it. That would be the ideal, I think, for the long tail.
Yeah, I think the last time I remember a game doing that properly was Fallout 3.
Right.
In like modern gaming terms, I feel like there might be others, but it's the only one that really stands out where you have these massive expansions that you didn't affect the main game. So yeah, but this is it's just so good. Oh, but what I will point out, did you know a mind flayer is a real thing? I mean, when I say a real thing, I thought it was just something they invented in Stranger Things.
Oh yeah, no, I knew it was from D&D. Yeah.
No, I didn't. I just thought they made that bit up. And you came in here and I was like, oh, what? Is this did what? And I had to look it up, and I went, "Oh, right, it's just actually quite a core theme of D&D." But yeah, I didn't know that. It's really cool.
There you go.
And now I want to start. I have said that I think I've wasted my life and made poor choices in my life because I really think I would have enjoyed D&D when I was younger and should have got into it.
Oh. We'll have to have a go. We'll have to have a go sometime. I'll run a game for us.
Yeah, I can't do the voices though.
No, you don't have to do the voices.
Oh no! Apparently, someone did say to me, they said, everyone says that at the start."
Yeah, you do tend to get into it.
Yeah, but yeah, I think you feel the idea of it is like you feel silly, but then I think if everyone's doing it, then yeah, it's part and parcel of the fun, isn't
Absolutely.
it? So, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I will review it properly. I'm probably going to write about it, or I might even do a video or whatever. But it's just amazing. It's so important as a game, and it just shows that even in this day and age, you can make a proper video game that's a video game that doesn't try and just, constantly be a job. It doesn't try and be a job or anything. It's not rushing me through. I could finish this next week and it's fine. I could take my time and spend a year with it. It's fine. And I'm not losing out. I'm not behind or anything. And bless this game. Bless this game.
Marvellous. Yeah. Good stuff.
Now, moving on. Stu had an idea, which I think is a very good idea. We've got some Q&A stuff. We got a bunch of questions that we're gonna ask, and we're both gonna answer. Now the idea was maybe, I think initially, correct me if I was, to do just like quick fire questions with this.
Yeah, kind of.
Initially,
yeah.
And then we come to a bit of a realisation, didn't we, Stu? Didn't we?
Well, certain people of the two of us who won't be named, Brad, may take some time on their answers, which is nice and good and pleasant. So we decided to split it up into chunks so we can give each question the time it deserves, I think is a way of putting it.
Yes, we will. So shall we go through 5 of them to start?
Yeah, let's do it. Yeah.
Because 5's a nice number.
It is, I like 5. And yeah, so with that in mind, here are some questions, right? And we'll do 5, but the first 2 are about games, but none of the others are. Just for the audience. So, right, first off, what's your favourite game of the last 5 years, Brad?
Like, bearing in mind, I said I might drag on a bit, okay? Tetris.
Okay. Nice and easy.
Right, no, sorry, very quickly. It is Tetris Effect. Still within the 5 years. Tetris Effect, Puyo Puyo Tetris 2, anything Tetris-y. However, what I will state is that might change over the next few weeks with Baldur's Gate. So it's just kind of to add to that, because that has just hit me in a way that I don't believe how well it's hit me. So it's Tetris. That's always my default answer, but Baldur's Gate might be that very, very soon.
Excellent. Good choice. Good choice.
What about yourself?
My favourite is Death Stranding. Probably by some considerable margin. It's just not like anything else. I mean, even though it's got stuff in there, DNA from Kojima's kind of previous games, it's not really like any of them. It's got some of the mechanics, but that's like saying, you know, that I walk and cheetahs walk, and therefore I am a cheetah. Do you know what I mean? It's not. It is not like that at all, and it just does something. It takes everything that you know about games where you're controlling a human white man in the third person, and kind of goes, yeah, we're kind of not doing any of that, and just does things that are completely different. And some of them don't work at all, and some of them work brilliantly, and some people hate it because of that, and some people love it, and I'm one of the ones who loves it.
Yep. Again, we've had discussions about the game, but yeah, no, I don't like it, but I do at the same time, but not enough to play it all fully. But I want to one day. I do. It's basically Hideo Kojima the game.
It is,
and that's what it could have been called, and it would have made probably more sense than Death Stranding, because it's got all these mates in it and everything. So you know, but yeah, I really should get back to that at some point, and I might do that.
Well, don't. It's one of them. You shouldn't force yourself to like it, because
No. I want to play it. I want to play it past like the first few hours that I have played it, because there's something there, but it wasn't enough to hold me at the time. So I think maybe when I'm long retired from writing and talking, I've got like 3,000 video games already built up. That's one of those that's up there to actually sit down and play one day when I've got the time. But yeah.
Cool.
I'll ask the next question, so it's not just you asking the question.
Yeah, go on.
Because you've done nothing but talk.
I know,
this
it's
episode,
disgraceful.
Nothing but talk. Yeah. I know. So, outside of video games, what is your number one hobby?
Yeah, well, I mean, this one's it's actually a tough question. It's a mixture for me of like walking, rambling, that sort of thing. Rambling won't come as a surprise to anybody. But yeah, it's walking, and there's a real kind of deep reason behind it. Because I was thinking about it, and I was like, yeah, there's lots of things around it. So there's like photography. I really like photography. I'm not particularly good at it, but I like doing it. And I like visiting places. You know, I prefer to visit places that are exterior, that are outdoors. But it's all because, like, especially when I was a kid, and it kind of grew from there, I've really liked liminal spaces. So a liminal space is like, it's not designed as a destination. It's designed as like a utilitarian way of getting you from one place to another. So like a pavement alongside like a busy A road is a liminal space, or, you know, like pathways between industrial buildings and things like that. These are all like liminal spaces. They're not designed as a destination. And I've always been, genuinely don't know why, but I've really been obsessed with them. And I think partly maybe because, like, where I grew up in Chester, it's like very historic. Every corner, every way you turn, there's something that's like, you know, designed as it's supposed to be impressive, or it's old and therefore impressive, or whatever. And when they built a kind of not an industrial park, but like an entertainment park outside of town, and it was all utilitarian, it was all these flat pack buildings, like typical shopping mall stuff.
Yeah.
And it was the first time I'd seen one. I was absolutely fascinated with it, and it just became a bit of a weird obsession, that I just love these boring utilitarian liminal spaces, industrial architecture. And yeah, but I love rambling. I love walking, and I love it in nature as well. And stuff like, you know, bird watching whilst I'm out there, it helps you appreciate where you are and what you're looking at, and it focuses your attention. And it's a good, I don't know, it's probably a little bit, you know, of being, it could be part of being on the spectrum, maybe. I don't know if I am, but if I am, that's definitely a part of it. Yeah.
Yeah, no, it's really cool. I don't mind going for walks and stuff like that, and looking what's around me. But yeah, It's really weird. Just before I start answering, I've only just noticed for the first time that Stu's made 2 tabs for these questions. And there's one there at the bottom that says Brandon, there's one that says Stu. And Stu is kindly, I think, filling it, mine in as we go. I've just looked at Stu's tab and he's made all these notes and everything and filled it all in properly just so he's got points. And mine's just completely blank because I'm going to make it up as we go because I didn't realise there was homework.
No, it's not homework. It's just the way I operate. I'm just weird like that.
I mean, if you wanted to actually work out how both of us operate on one spreadsheet, that's it.
Yeah, it's personality
Brad's
test.
just going to go in, he'll answer it as it comes. And she's like, I'll actually think about this and there's some structure. And I'm like, yeah, whatever.
Oh, I know. It's so well. I love it. I love structure. I love it so much. But yeah, it's just weird.
So yeah, whereas I'll just do it on the fly. It's fine. I'm better on the fly. I can't do structure.
All right, we'll prove it then. So, what is your number one hobby outside of gaming?
So football. Not playing. Really as such. And it's only something I've really discovered again over the past maybe 2, 3, 4 years. And it's football. Purely because I'm seeing the joy, and I know this is a bit of a whole sentimental answer and stuff like that, but just seeing the joy it brings my daughter, the joy it brings Edith. She's autistic, and she struggles with a lot of things, but her safe space, her happy place is a football pitch, especially between the sticks. She's a natural goalie. She's a ball goalie. She wants to be a goalie. And they say it takes a special breed to be a goalie, to want people shooting like 50 mile an hour shots at your face. She's happy. Well, maybe not 50 miles an hour at her age, but she's happy having shots. She doesn't care if she loses teeth or whatever. She's just purely happy with it. And seeing her smile makes me smile. I started going to football games again because of the price of being able to go and see the women play. And I've been enjoying women's football much more than I've been enjoying men's football. And it's bringing me a sense of joy. And it's still something I can do despite my disabilities, despite being blind, despite my anxiety and coming to terms with my own autism and ADHD and my depression and things like that. It's something I can do and feel part of a community. And it's just, yeah, I absolutely love just the world of, not even football, let's not say football, women's football. Let's just say women's football. Yeah. It has been an absolute joy to be a part of that. Yeah, it's just, I absolutely love it.
Amazing. Yeah. I've really liked what I've seen of the World Cup. It's not been as much as I'd like because of what time it's on in the morning, unfortunately.
Can I make one point about the Women's World Cup? And it's literally just a one moment thing.
Yeah.
Chloe Kelly scored a penalty to send England through to the quarterfinals, which was great. But do you want to know a fact about that penalty?
Go on.
Her shot was faster than any shot taken by a man in the Premier League last season.
Nice.
So maybe the men shouldn't moan about them getting equal pay to women. Maybe the women deserve their higher pay. Just saying. They could kick the ball harder, the women.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, it was absolutely brilliant. I love seeing stuff like that. And, yeah, white men of certain ages crying about it because it's, yeah, whatever. But, yeah, brilliant.
Yeah, ignore them. That's for the best. Excellent. All right, then.
Now,
well, the next question
easy one for you, then, Stu. Oh, no, you're asking. No, you're asking, aren't you? I've got there.
Yeah. Well, I mean, it doesn't really matter. You can ask me if you like. I'm open.
Well, I know the answer to this one, so I'm not even going to look at your tab. I know the answer to this one. Who is your hero, Stu?
It's Bradley. Yeah, of course it is. It's always all day and night, definitely.
Who's your real hero, Stu?
Well, yeah, it's a difficult one to answer. It's one of those that, like, it seems like a small question, but it becomes a bigger one. Because imagine, right, if your hero was Lizzo, yeah? Imagine that. And then, within the last week, that's probably been completely...
Lizzo? What's a Lizzo?
You don't know Lizzo? You don't know who Lizzo is?
No.
Oh, God, we'll have to take that off air then, because like, Lizzo's an entertainer, a singer, and...
the rapper?
Yeah.
Yes. Sorry, I do know of Lizzo. I'm not familiar with their work or anything, but it sounds like something's happened. So,
yeah, well, we won't get into it here because it's big, but it's not good.
Let's just say stuff's happened, right?
Exactly. Bill Cosby. Imagine if he was your hero, or anything like that. But I do have some. I do have some heroes. Like, I mean, the person I always described as my hero for years was Michael Palin, and I'm not sure if he still is to a degree, but he was everything that I kind of wanted to be as an adult, really, which is he's erudite, he's kind, he's hilarious. He's intelligent, he writes, but he isn't egotistical. He's well travelled, he's very human, he's relatable. He's kind of like everything that I think that a person kind of should be, really. Unfortunately, he accepted a knighthood a few years ago, and that really hurt me in a way.
Kenny Dalglish did as well, in all fairness, and so I think a lot of a generation find it difficult to not accept it.
Yeah, it doesn't change fundamentally what they are as a person, but it does change my perception of him a little bit. Now, another troublesome one is Yasmin Albai Brown. I might be pronouncing their name wrong. Apologies if I am. He's a journalist and a left-wing journalist.
Yeah.
Now, says all sorts of things that I agree with. Great writer, really connect with them, but they have said some things that have been classed as anti-Semitic in the past, and it's, again, to class them as a hero, I'd have to sit down with them and just ask them what the truth was. So that makes it more complex. I suppose the only person that I can think of immediately that I don't think anything bad has ever been said about is Benjamin Zephaniah, and the poet and again, entertainment kind of person who's just a lovely person, really clever, really left-wing. Billy Bragg, that kind of person. There's a theme. There's definitely a theme with my heroes.
Yeah, no, definitely. It's kind of, there's a theme with mine, but it's kind of stems almost on like how I would consider heroes when I was a child, not a child, but when I was a teenager and younger, and I can't get out of that. And I totally get yours, all those you mentioned. I've never really thought about my hero before, outside of like stock answers. And a lot of my heroes have come from sport over the years. And my biggest sporting hero is Michael Schumacher. Which he's got the reason he done that, he was someone I looked up to because he had a desire to win at what seemed like all costs. Like he would when it's against the British driver, people go cheat because because there's still this hatred towards Germans for some reason. So people go, he's German, he's cheating, like he knocked out Damon Hill on purpose, blah blah blah. He took a moment. There was his world championship was slipping away. All he had to do was slightly nudge another driver who wasn't going fast. It wasn't going to really endanger him. He did what he had to do. Don't get me wrong. And he has pushed the boundaries and stuff like that. But he shows his human side. So, like, for example, when he broke his legs at the British Grand Prix after an accident, he came back and played the number 2 driver. Now, this is the best Formula 1 driver that's ever lived. Ever, in my opinion. But he played the number 2 driver to help his teammate Eddie Irvine try and win the World Championship, which I thought was brilliant. I've never seen that from like a Lewis Hamilton or a Max Verstappen. They don't ever feel like they're trying to help their teammates in any way, shape or form. It's all about them. And Michael Schumacher was singular. It's like, I'm going for the championship, and he would be so far ahead that your Rubens Barrichellos would be supporting him. And then he was there was a race. There was not long after his like something to do. I think it was like his mother had died, and they were speaking about like the anniversary of his mother's death to him, and he got really, really upset and showed his human side, and that really spoke to me in many, many ways. And yeah, I just find him as my hero. But more recently, I had another think about it. And ironically, I was trying to move away from sports, but I couldn't. Because I think someone who's a bit of a hero to me at the moment is Dele Alli. For someone like that, who has shown his side to come out and speak so openly and honestly about their mental health, and how it affected them, like destroyed their football career in so many ways, but speak about it openly and honestly. Well, I just thought was so brave, like in the actual sense, like we spoke about this at the time, the truest sense of the word brave. I think it was very, very brave. So yeah, Dele Alli at the moment, and I'm sure we can link to the episode where we actually spoke in depth about it. But yeah, at the moment, yeah, Dele Alli, I think is somewhat of a hero to me by the fact he's able to open up in the way he did, and I think do wonders for mental health in men.
Yeah, good choice. Yeah, cool. Go on then. What's the next question?
Oh, okay. Yeah. If you could live anywhere, Stu, where would that anywhere be?
Well, I'm kind of a theme that will come out is that I pretty much don't have FOMO, which is nice. I very rarely get it, and I just want to be here. I very much live in the present. I'm not a past focused person. Everything is either about the present or what I can build for the future, and a lot of it comes back to, I think, the fact my dad died when I was young. And, you know, I contextualise my past by, like, I had a great childhood. I really enjoyed it until it was, you know, kind of half destroyed when I was a young teenager by my dad dying. Mm-hmm. But I have I can contextualise it and go, well, there was good and there was bad because something bad happened. And I don't want to be, you know, back in that situation. And I want to live in the moment. I want to tell people that I care about them, and I want to live for, you know, what happens now. And, you know, that'll come up again and again in questions. But in this one in particular, I chose this place where we've moved to just like because it fit everything that I wanted to do and everything I wanted to kind of be and everywhere I wanted to live. And I don't want to be anywhere else, which is, you know, pretty nice, really.
Yeah, no, totally get that. And I wish... I wish that's how I could feel at times, because mine's almost literally the opposite of that. Anywhere but here.
Yeah.
I want to live in Liverpool. Essentially, that's it. That's where I want to be. And again, it's you'll probably find the theme. I didn't realise. Obviously, I did know I'm quite family orientated, but how much I care. It's where we're happiest. It's where I see Edith smile the most. It's where I see Lucas happy and confident and things like that. So yeah, it's just one of those. Actually, a simple answer. It's Liverpool because it's, you know, it's just the place I want to be, and it's an amazing city. You probably well know, Stu. You know, you live fairly local to it. Like in retrospect, and this one I could live in Rotterdam or anywhere.
Liverpool, all right. Yeah,
on
it.
But yeah, no, Liverpool.
Excellent. Yeah, no, on a good clear day, I can see. If I go up to the top of our hill, I can see straight across the Wirral to Liverpool, which is nice. Yeah.
I'd see the Radio City Tower.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. And yeah, no, I agree. It's a lovely place to live. And it's.
How do you call Pete Price rude names?
Yeah, well, yeah. Absolutely.
I mean, that goes without saying, really. You've got to have it.
Oh, completely. But no, it's a nice place. It's a nice thing a nice situation to be in, to know where you want to be as well. Even if it's, you know, as long as it's something that's approachable, you don't have to. It's not so fantastical that you'd have to chuck everything out to achieve it. You know, that you can think of it as the only thing that would make you happy. Because like years and years and years ago, somebody my mum knew moved to New Zealand because I think they just thought, you know, oh, New Zealand's bound to be nice, and they moved back within a few months because it was just a fantasy, and when they actually encountered the reality, they didn't like it. And yeah, it's nice to know that you're not going after a fantastical thing, you're going after something that's proper and achievable as well.
Too many dwarves and wizards.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah.
I mean, I will caveat that with Liverpool, it's anywhere with my family. As long as I've got my family with me, that's all that matters, really.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's just I know. I mean, I've lived in Liverpool, and moving away was my big regret. So again, I'm not trying to justify anything like in terms of what you just said there. I know the city. I know what it's like to live there, and I know what effect it has on us, which is why that's why I'm not choosing. Oh, I'd love to go and live in Detroit, or I'd love to go and live in Canada, or anything like that. Which you know, maybe Detroit's not the most amazing place, but you know, it's a place where I like I've got, again, through sports, got a link to it, and it's where I'd like to be for certain things, especially when Lucas was playing ice hockey. And Canada the same, but no, it's Liverpool. I know it, I love it. The city's amazing, the people are amazing, and I'm a little bit closer to Stu.
Which is the key thing, of course. Yeah, absolutely.
Yes. Yes.
Cool.
So you can ask the last one.
Yeah. So, what is your?
I'm too worried.
What is your biggest fear?
So, again, this is one, like, I saw it just, like, a couple of minutes ago when I was looking at it, and I had to really, really, really think about it. I suppose my biggest fear is everything that I know that's me now, which is my autism, my ADHD, is like the biggest link to all of this. That it turns out it's not, and that everything I've done has been 100% my fault. Everything, like my depression is my fault. My lack of understanding certain situations is my fault. That being able to not ramble on and stuff like that, but I have full control over that, and that the reason some people don't like me is 100% my fault, because I'm a terrible person, I'm a bad person. My issues with money, it's like I've totally screwed that up, and like the idea of like it was all me, and I'm conscious of it all, and I've made these conscious decisions. And I still believe that about myself, even though I know these are there. I still blame myself for the smallest things that go wrong. I blame myself for Edith's autism and Lucas's ADHD. That's my fault. It's my fault that we're in the situation that we live in a flat. I do blame myself, but then I'm able to step back at the moment and go, actually, no, circumstance causes that as well. It's not just everything I've done. I've not been dealt the fairest of hands. I know I've got better hands than some people, but I've definitely had a much worse hand than others. So I know that does come into it, and I can logically stand back and tell myself that. My big fear is that me logically standing back and telling myself that it's all these other mitigating factors that contribute to it is bullshit, and it's everything I've done. I am at fault for absolutely everything around me, whether it's what go like my mum having to recently go to hospital to have some of her lung removed because of cancer scares, whether it's like our situations here, whether it's a friend of mine that's going through issues. It's all my fault, and that's the fear I have, that everything that goes on is my fault. And yeah, I know logically, and I will step back from it after saying it. I know that's not the case. And I'm sure you'll turn around in a sec and go, of course it's not all your fault, and you don't have control over some things. But yeah, that's my biggest fear. And spiders in Australia.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah. Well, no, you see, I think the natural... This is why, like, having a third party who doesn't know you very well is great for, like, playing stuff back to you. And it's why, why I enjoy doing Samaritans. Because when somebody says something like that, you're kind of, as a friend, your reaction is to go, oh no, that's crazy, you're this, you're that, you're not those things, you're not the bad thing that you think that you are. But of course that doesn't get to like the issue itself. But when you're a third party and you're dispassionate about it, you can go, oh right, well, what makes you feel that way? When does this happen? Can you remember when it started? Questions like that to sort of interrogate where it came from gently, and that really helps. But yeah, no, as a friend, no, of course that's crazy. You're not responsible for those things, and you're a nice person, and you shouldn't worry about it.
Oh yeah, no, and I say I totally get that as well. When I say step back, and I know, like, talking about it, I'm talking about it in that respect of that's the answer to that question. Yeah. And I know it's not my fault, but yeah, those intrusive thoughts that they hit hard.
Yes,
they really do hit hard at times. I feel guilty over my children being born. Not in I regret having them, and I love them to bits, but it's like I brought them into this world, or what if we hadn't, or we created them on a different day? Would it have been a different life for them? Do they deserve a better life with a different father, etc, 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 right down to the points of, like, if I ended my life, would they go on to have a better life? All things like that have all come in, and my biggest fear is that's not just intrusive thoughts to do with mental health and depression and everything that comes along with that it's the actual truth, and everything is my fault, which is weird.
Yeah. Well,
but yeah.
Yeah, I mean, well, this is a huge debate, but it's I don't think it's weird. I think it's pretty standard for quite a lot of people, actually. I think a lot of people go through those kinds of concerns, and it's probably more acute for you around certain things as well. But the main thing is I would say is not to beat yourself up about thinking those thoughts, because that's the best way to maybe get around them. But anyway, God, no, that's a whole.
Now I've gone deep. I want you to turn around and just go hi.
Yeah. Well, there's three lots, aren't there? I was just thinking about it, and there's three lots of fears really. There's rational ones, so like people when they go, oh, my kid's dying, or me catching cancer, getting cancer. Or,
yeah.
And there's irrational fears, which are like things that are unlikely to happen but could happen. And there's phobias, which it's just completely irrational fear. And I suppose there's four because there's fantasy fears. Oh, I don't know. Where am I going?
Where do clowns come in?
Yeah,
actually clowns.
Clowns are irrational, and you can have a phobia of them, which is also has a name that I can't remember. But yeah,
they are murderous though. They do kill these children. I believe that even before.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, but no. I mean, to answer the question, phobia-wise, claustrophobia, because I get anxiety, and it's much better these days. It's pretty well controlled, but I do get anxiety, and my presentation of anxiety is claustrophobia. And you can see the exact kind of like, oh, X happened and it turned into claustrophobia with me and Mel were having going through a bad time, not with each other, but we both individually had some issues, and Mel had some terrible mental health issues and a bit of a breakdown. And then not long after that, her grandma died, who she's very close to, and we had to go to the funeral, and it was far away, and we didn't have the car. This was before we had a car, so we had to go in public transport. We couldn't afford to stay over, so we had to do it all in a day on the train. And on the way back, I just had a massive kind of panic attack about being on a train and being enclosed in that enclosed space, and just couldn't face it. And we had to miss the train, and we had to go to the pub so I could self-medicate, and that's awful, and I really didn't want to do it, but getting slightly drunk was the only thing that I could possibly do to help me face it. And awful. So claustrophobia, basically, anything where I'm trapped. As I've written here, bonus points for trapped in a cave. Like if I was like The Descent, the film, if I was trapped in a cave, physically trapped, couldn't move my arm, I would go insane, and literally within a couple of minutes. And even if I was rescued after like 3 minutes, it would be too late. My mind would be gone, and I wouldn't be coming back.
Wow,
that's how bad it is. It's terrible.
Oddly, for me, that would be heaven. Like if I'm trapped and like in somewhere enclosed, I know that I haven't got to worry about anything else because I can't physically do anything else, so I can't affect anything else. So if I'm trapped in like even a lift or something like that on my own, or like you said, in a cave, whether it's literal or metaphorical, that for me is just I can relax bizarrely.
Yeah, that's why it's a phobia, I guess. It doesn't make a rational. There's no rational sense to it. If I get trapped in a lift, I just sit there till they fix the lift, But it doesn't feel that way. It feels like death, It feels like I'm gonna die. So that's very dark, but yeah, that's what it is.
No, I get it, and it's the claustrophobic one is like when you say this again. Again, this is not to make it about me. You understand like the ADHD side, but anyone who doesn't. An ADHD shows empathy by relating to their own experiences. So I'm not just taking over from Stu. But it's like with the claustrophobic one, it's like a lot of people see claustrophobia as being stuck in small spaces, whereas claustrophobia is anything that makes you feel like, I suppose, like pressure and like feeling trapped or not in control. And mine is bizarrely busy spaces. Like it's not a phobia, but I feel overwhelmed sitting in a cafe because of everything that's going on. I feel overwhelmed walking through a train station or walking through a busy street. That's what affects me, because I can't focus on the one thing I need to focus on, and my mind travels, or I just hear everything that's going on, and that freaks me out more than anything, and that's a kind of claustrophobia. And then it's not a phobia; it just really irritates me. But I think yours is yours. I think you said is you feeling closed in, not specifically maybe being in that space, but it's definitely, I think, for you, and tell me if I'm wrong, it's that idea of being completely closed in, literally and, again, metaphorically.
Yeah, absolutely. Both of them, yeah. It's feeling like I don't have any agency or ability to change the situation is almost as bad as the physical stuff, you know. Yeah. And apart from
just
that,
like trying to end this podcast sometimes.
yeah. And apart from that, werewolves. Yeah.
Werewolves.
Yeah.
We are weird. Edith mentioned this. Like, would you rather be bitten by a werewolf or something else? And I can't remember what it was. But I went werewolf because if I got bitten and attacked by a werewolf, I'm more likely to die from it and not have to suffer the consequences. And I can't remember what the other thing was, but it was like, that was it, a vampire and live forever. And yeah, no, I don't want to do that. I don't want to live forever.
Yeah.
Behave. 41 years is enough.
Too right. Cool. Yeah.
But yeah, that's 5. How many more we got left to go, Stu? Another 40?
Yeah, about another 45 questions I've put down.
Stu's original idea was we maybe could run through all these in a show.
I know. I was. How naive, man. How naive was that?
But yeah, no, this is really good. I do like this. It learns a little bit about us, and hopefully, like, some of the stuff is not educating people, but allows other people to maybe think about some of these things as well for themselves, and approach them, because we don't always approach them. It's like when you said, "What's your biggest fear?" I think generally, like, people go, "Oh, what are you scared of?" And I go, "Oh, clowns." You know, I will generally. That's just like a nice stock answer, clowns. Yeah. And I don't really think about it. So yeah, it's good to think about it and get these things out. And I said, you know, when I speak about what my actual biggest fears are, there's people now go, might even agree. People might go, well, yeah, it's all your fault because, you know, you have agency. I've got no issues with people thinking that. But then you get other people that could either back you up or tell you what you need to hear, or even sometimes tell you what you don't want to hear. So it's good to do these things. And quite a few of these questions over the next few weeks, we'll definitely delve into that. But talking of fears, do you know what your biggest fear is, Stu?
What's that?
That I will never shut up. So do you know what I will do?
What are you going to do?
I'm going to shut up now.
There we go. Excellent. So, yeah, hopefully you found some of that interesting and or useful. And if not, just skip it, you know, where the show notes are, so you can go to the bits you want to listen to. And apart from that, follow us on all the socials, join our Discord to chat. And apart from that, until next time, stay safe and stay sane.